Performing Gaming 420.
As he cleaned this fossil and he saw the hole on the bottom of the skull where the spinal cord enters the brain underneath, that he had something like a two-legged walker on his hands, and this he named Australopithecus africanus, and what that means is southern human of Africa.
Dart rushed into print with his find. He claimed it was proof that we evolved in Africa, just as Darwin had predicted. He was unprepared for the firestorm his theory unleashed.
The Tong child sparked an incredible revolution. Up to that point, everyone said, let's look to Europe for our ancestors. It was unthinkable that anything as important as the emergence of humans could have happened in Africa.
Raymond Dart was a feisty guy, and when he was pushed back by the British intelligence here, he became faster, more aggressive in terms of his defending of his views.
Most scientists disagreed with him. He really was seen as an outsider, but it absolutely set the ball rolling for one, paleoanthropology as a field in Africa, and two, vindication of what Darwin and Huxley had predicted with actual fossil evidence. It showed once and for all that our origins were in Africa and only in Africa, and that's huge. It totally changed the field.
Dart was sure he had discovered the missing link between apes and humans. But it wasn't enough to know what they looked like. He wanted to know how they behaved. What sort of creatures were they? He understood that these great questions about our ancestors were also questions about ourselves.
The reason we're interested in our own ancestry, I think, is the reason that you or I want to know who our parents were and who our grandparents were or great-grandparents were. Because somewhere in us we realize that there's a little bit of them in us, and so to understand the quirks of our own behavior and why we do things, if not just why we look the way we do, comes from that ancestry. Paleoanthropology is just that in deep time. We're looking way back. And so we're looking at the things, the sort of little bits and pieces that drive why humanity is like it is today.
Raymond Dart was building a theory about how the Australopiths, our ape-like ancestors, became human. His ideas about the dawn of humanity were the touchstone for thinking about our origins for generations.
In the 1940s, more examples of Australopithecus began to be found. And a key site not only had fragments of Australopithecus, but also the bones of many other fossil animals. And Dart noted that these bones were broken in a special way.
Dart became convinced they were weapons made by our primitive ancestors. Was this the key to what first made us human? Dart had been a young medic in World War I. He had seen firsthand the barbarity humans are capable of. It made sense to him that the origins of humanity were steeped in blood.
Raymond Dart's experience in the World War may have colored his interpretation of
Performing Gaming 420.